Welcome to the Let Me Bend Your Ear live video of the day. My name is Frank. I'm the host of the Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast. The Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast is a movie-centric podcast. The tagline of the show is I discuss and review movies new and old. So I'm coming on for my daily live. The purpose of these lives is to discuss the current episode that's available now. So let me start there. So the episode that's available for listening on the audio feed and on the YouTube channel is episode 78, which is my discussion and review of the 1986 Michael Mann film Manhunter. If you're not familiar with that movie, that is the first movie to introduce the Hannibal Lecter character. The movie stars William L. Peterson as Will Graham and Brian Cox as Hannibal Lecter, and character actor Tom Noonan as the Tooth Fairy Killer. It's an excellent film. I highly recommend it. Check out my review. As I stated, you can listen to the podcast on Spotify or wherever you get podcasts, which includes Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Castbox, and Amazon Music. So you can listen to it on any one of those formats. You can also download episodes of the audio podcast on the website, which is letmebendyourear.com. If you want to email the show, the email is bendyourearpodcast@gmail.com. So again, check out the episode featuring Manhunter. Let me know your thoughts on the show, or let me know your thoughts on the movie if you've seen it or will see it as a result of the podcast. I definitely want to get your feedback. The best way to interact with me is on Twitter. I'm on there every day, posting every day, discussing movies with other podcasters and with the public out there. So I would love to hear your thoughts on the show, on the movies that I review. So definitely hit me up on Twitter. The Twitter handle is @BendYourEarPod. You can also find me on Instagram, which is also BendYourEarPod, and that is also the handle for Twitch. So this live video right now is on the YouTube channel, my personal Facebook page, Twitter, and Twitch. So again, if you see these lives, feel free to interact or come on real quick. Like I said, I'll be on for just a couple more minutes here. So the current episode is Manhunter. The next episode that will be dropping on Saturday will be episode 79. That'll be my discussion and review of the 1984 film Gremlins, directed by Joe Dante and written by Columbus. So that was a fun review to do. I just watched the movie with my son last weekend. He had never seen it before. So that is going to be the next episode. That episode will be available on the audio feed on Saturday morning. If you want a sneak preview of the episode, you want to see it before it drops on Saturday on the audio feed, it is available right now on the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. So you can watch it now if you want to see it early, or if you listen to the audio feed, you can download it starting Saturday morning. So check that one out as well. And my recording schedule is probably going to be, it's July 4th weekend. Normally I record on Sundays, which is July 4th, but I think we'll be doing fireworks. I may or may not come on late that night. I'm off from work on Monday, so I may do a recording maybe during the day, Monday or Monday evening. I will post when I'm going to do that and what the next movie I'm going to pick to review will be. So I haven't picked it yet. So I'll once I do, I'll let you know. I will say this, though, and I mentioned it in the episode. I had a great time discussing the Ron Howard 1989 film Parenthood on Twitter the other day. So definitely a movie I would recommend. I'm definitely going to review it at some point in the podcast, and maybe the next episode. I'm not sure yet. I haven't picked the movie yet, but definitely one I'm going to talk about. So the other thing I wanted to do, because I wanted to think of a feature of these lives, something that I can add to the live video, since I do a 3 or 4 or 5 minute video. I try to get on every day. I don't always succeed, but I was like, is there something I can do on these lives that I don't do on the podcast? So I am going to do that. So what I'm going to start doing, and it's quick, I'm going to start throwing out recommendations of smaller movies, or movies that maybe you've heard of that you didn't see for whatever reason, maybe because you didn't think you'd like it, or the lead actors, or the premise, or the genre. So there's a bunch of movies in my head that I know that I've seen that are smaller films that people may not have checked out. And these may or may not be films I ultimately review on the podcast, but at least they're movies that I know that I like. And it'll be a quick thing that I can do specifically on these daily lives that's not on the podcast. So hopefully people will come check it out, even if it's to see what's a movie I'm recommending. So I'm going to recommend a movie today that I saw. I think it came out in 1989. I will double check that again on my 80s kick of movies. It is called My Blue Heaven and is directed by Herbert Ross. The movie stars Rick Moranis and Steve Martin, two of the best comic actors working, or Rick Moranis not working for a while. He's coming back. But the premise of the movie is Steve Martin is a gangster that's being protected by Rick Moranis, who is an FBI agent, because he's about to, Steve Martin's character is about to testify. And it's basically a fish out of water comedy, a clashing of two different personalities. I mean, you've seen it in film before. This movie is hilarious. I highly recommend it. Steve Martin's fantastic. He's always great, but it's a movie that did not do very well when it came out. But I know when I've talked to people on Twitter about it, or people mention My Blue Heaven, it's a movie with, I think, a very high cult following. So like I said, it didn't do well when it came out. I saw it in the movies and it made me laugh. It's very good. It's a comedy. And if you love Steve Martin, you'll love this movie. There's going to be a string of Steve Martin movies I recommend, some that are popular and well known and did well, and some that are a little bit lesser known, like My Blue Heaven. But I would definitely check that movie out. It should be available everywhere to rent on VOD. But that's going to be my recommendation of the day. Check out My Blue Heaven. I'm not going to give a Van Gogh review of it now. It's a good movie. I may review at some point on the podcast, but I'm going to start to try to throw out movies that maybe you haven't heard of. Because when I think about what the goal of this podcast is, or what, mission statement, if you, for lack of a better term, one of my favorite things to do as a movie fan is to connect people with movies that they would not have nor ordinarily seen on their own, and then they end up loving them. So the example I always cite is with my wife. I introduced her to the film Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, the Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet movie, one of the most original movies in the last 20 years. And I introduced it to my wife and thinking probably she wasn't going to like it because it's an offbeat movie. She doesn't really like a lot of offbeat movies. And to my pleasant surprise, she absolutely loved it. And it's one of her favorite movies. So that's, as a movie buff, it's always fun when you can connect someone, whether you're a music fan, a movie fan, television show fan, when you can share something that you're passionate about or that you love with someone that you think would not like it and they end up loving it. It's pretty fantastic. So I want to try to do that with this podcast as well. Review movies that maybe you would have not ordinarily sought out, and hopefully based on my recommendation, you check it out and end up really loving it. So I love when I do that with my friends. So it's the same thing I want for this podcast. I want to either reinvigorate your love of a movie that you have seen before, or even better, get you to watch a movie that you would have not normally seen, and then make you become a fan of it. So that's something that I would love to do. So again, check out My Blue Heaven with Steve Martin and Rick Moranis. So that's going to be it for the live today. Thank you for joining me. If you watch this later, like I said, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the downloads of the show. Thank you so much. You're really helping in my goal to try to grow the show and get a wider reach and get a wider audience. And like I said, starting this week, I was able to now finally simulcast on Twitter. So hopefully these videos will now reach my followers there, since that's obviously the platform where I have the most followers. So again, if you see this video, if you know anyone that wants to look for a new movie podcast, please share this video, retweet, like it on your social media. If you like the audio feed, please, if you listen on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, please rate and review. That's the easiest way you can really help the show get a bigger exposure, and I really would appreciate that. So definitely do that. Also, you can reach me again on Twitter at BendYourEarPod, Instagram, BendYourEarPod. And you can email the show at bendyourearpodcast@gmail.com. So again, that's the wrap up for this live video for the Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast. Again, reach out to me on Twitter. I'll be happy to respond. Follow me. I'll follow you back. And we're in Wednesday. Hopefully the rest of the week will go. But actually, it's Thursday. I'm losing track of time. So almost at the weekend. So hope everybody has a great rest of the week. And I will be seeing you soon. Like I said, I'll probably be recording the next episode either on Sunday night or Monday night. I'll let you know on social media, and then I'll let you know what movie I'm going to be reviewing on that episode, so you can come and join. Because yeah, that's the other thing to wrap this up. We actually had our first live guest on the episode I recorded for Gremlins. So we had someone come on and I talked to them live during that episode. So we had the first person dip their toe in. So hopefully other people will join. I definitely want to interact with people and talk while I do the live. So definitely hit me up when I record an episode, and we will definitely discuss the movie I'm reviewing or anything about movies you want to talk about. So again, everybody take care, have a great day, and have a great rest of your week.